art commission sheets. You've seen them everywhere from artists on every platform. But there are two big issues you should have with this practice. Number one, you'll learn why this is a complete waste of time for all artists of any ability level. Number two, you'll learn every single limitation to this practice and why this is completely killing your business. And by the end of this video, I want to help you be brave and learn why you should stop doing this immediately, or else you're going to feel these consequences real fast, if you're not already. Now, at the outset here, what's my problem with these? Is it really my problem, or is it actually something substantial that you should know about? Well, I think that this is a rite of passage for all artists, and I want to be humble and honest with you. I started my business by doing this too. I thought that this is what I was supposed to do. I thought that this is what I had to do in order to get art clients. But as I'm going to teach you in this video today, I learned that there are some severe issues with using any form of an art commission sheet. And I want to teach you every single one of them, because what I want to also let you know is that there's a light at the end of the tunnel here. By me giving this practice up, I was actually able to grow my art business from making maybe $100 or $200 a month to going up to $2,000 to $5,000 a month, taking less clients for more money. Oh, and by the way, I have no following on any art social media platform. You can do it too. And trying to use this and actually think you're gonna get anywhere with it is actually kneecapping your business or altogether destroying it. Without further ado, let's get into the exact reasons why. All right, so here's the first biggest issue that you should have in this current era, is that this does not abide by what's called the 3-second rule. If you're not sure what that is, here's what it is. Check this out here. So imagine that you're a client. I'm gonna put you in the client seat right now. As you're watching me scroll through all of these, here's one thing that you need to understand. You only have 1 to 3 seconds to go ahead and interrupt the client scroll. What does that mean? That means that while I'm zooming by all of these, what a client is going to do is they're doing a very quick screen to see, oh, okay, this person could be cool. Any type of art commission sheet absolutely does not interrupt the scroll. You must understand this. Your number one objective is to interrupt the scroll. This is how you make sales and make good money. But look, here's one thing I want to let you know, y'all. Look at this right here. Do you really expect someone to sit down with a good old cup of coffee and just read look at all this stuff? There's so much I have to read here, y'all. Do you really think that this is what people want? Do you think that they want to buy a literary experience from you? Because they don't, friend. Look, I gotta be honest with you. Nobody reads these. Nobody is going to read that much text. If you think that any random person in the globe is just gonna go ahead and stop their life and just take the next 5 to 10 minutes to read all this, you're sorely mistaken, friend. You don't interrupt the scroll. Now, let me just show you a different example right here. So here you can see one of my posts from Reddit, and I don't use any art commission sheets. And I have literally hundreds of people I've helped do this much better too. So just imagine you're a client, watch this. So if you are scrolling by, what do you think captures your attention? This commission sheet or my single large artwork? I think it's pretty obvious. See, the number one thing that you have to do is you have to make a client stop dead, have that moment to pause and reflect and say, this could be the person that could make what I want. Because here's one big flaw that we have to expose with this. People aren't buying your art. They're buying your pricing when you use a commission sheet. You need to flip that script, friend. People should look at your art and then say, wow, that's great, that's cool. How much do they charge for that? Not in the opposite sense, because here, when I'm looking at a commission sheet just like this, what people are doing is they're going, too expensive, nope, not in my budget. And that's not how it works. And yes, you can get people to pay top dollar with no following. I'm gonna talk to you about how to do that today. And then this also segues into some major issues surrounding pricing and why you think you have to do this. Let's get into that. And so you might be doing this already, or you might be telling me, well, Sean, this just seems like a way that I can get clients. I'm afraid that they're not gonna pay. But let me just go ahead and stop you there in your tracks. Let's take a look at this person's commission sheet. Now look, here's a big thing that I wanna let you know. It is impossible to get beyond a certain price point. I'm gonna be very specific with you. Anytime that you charge over $100 to $150, people immediately gloss you over. That's the truth. That's honest truth. If you doubt me, let me just go ahead and put this into perspective. Imagine that I was to go ahead and just put up my pricing, which would look something like this. If I did this, I promise you I would get absolutely no clients. And this is the focus and the point. You should be getting less clients for way more money. And we'll get into that as far as why that's a better focus for you, and this practice destroys it. Now, here comes number 2. And you probably didn't know about this, but the more common reason why this is actually an acceptable use in rare circumstances is that you're not trying to get more clients, you're actually trying to weed out clients. And here's what I mean, check these out right here. So if I wanted to commission Art based on what I roughly know about them, they would charge about $400 for a sketch. Yeah, I said that number, $400. Also, if I wanted to get a full render, they would charge around $2,000. Yeah, that's a big, awesome price tag, right? Also, over here on X, we have Zakuga, who charges roughly $2,000 per book cover. Also, if you wanted to go ahead and have Warwick Wong, this beast of a man right here, he would charge you about $1,800 for any work that he does. Now, why do they do this? Because they are so popular and you're not. And because of that, they want to weed out clients wasting their time, and because they would normally probably get like tons of DMs and tons of inquiries from people that only wanted to pay like $50. Obviously, that's not worth their time. It's not worth the conversation for them, okay? But you and I, friend, we're not popular. You can't play by their rule books. It does not make sense. That's like you playing high stakes poker when you have a dollar store budget. It's not gonna work out for you. So what this exposes is that, again, the only people that are doing this are the people that are wholly unaware, or the people that don't understand that this is for mega popular people. And if that's not you, then why are you still trying to do it? But wait, it gets worse. Next, here's a big daddy issue that you probably don't understand are making clients totally gloss you over if that wasn't bad enough. So here's a big issue that I see is, check out this one right here. So this person has a bunch of really cool artwork. I can tell that they've got some awesome skills and people would definitely pay some great money for this stuff. But here's a big major problem, is that they've completely destroyed them by putting it onto this sheet. And so what do I mean by that? Look at these right here. You can obviously tell that this person did not go ahead and wake up that day and say, hey, I really want to make a book cover orientation artwork. Obviously, this is cut into it. And so here's my next concern, is that aside from not stopping and interrupting that scroll, you are also not interrupting their scroll for interest. This is a really terrible way for you to go ahead and display your artworks. Y'all, I can't understand why you would want to go ahead and do this. This would be like if you bought a luxury car and you just went ahead and sliced it right down into thirds and just drove around on that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If I buy a Vespa, if that's your case, right? So if you don't believe me though, check this out. So again, here's an example of one of my posts. I just used one big, huge, awesome artwork, one that I particularly like, or one that I generally find that clients like the best. I don't show any pricing with it either. Check that out. But if you compare this versus this right up on here, be honest with me. If you're looking at this from the sense of a screen that's like 3 inches small, 3 to 5 inches small, okay? Which one do you think is actually gonna make a client scroll, stop? It's obvious. Look, here are some other issues I see all the time too. So as you kind of take a look at this splash art image right here, okay? This is also something that I would say you should never do, because again, what are you doing? You're destroying the original composition of this one. To prove it to you, check this out. Here's one of my artworks, and now here's one of my artworks if I went ahead and I did that. So if I slice it in next to 2 other ones, I understand your mentality behind this. You want to show or try and capture future clients by showing them more than one different example. You think that this is going to capture them. It will not. Instead, what this is going to do is it's going to turn them off because they're seeing the worst version of it. And if you don't believe me, look, here's some other people that I work with in my one-on-one mentorship. They do exactly how I show them to do this. And here's the idea, is that you want to start off with one big, awesome bad boy image that you really like, that you're really proud of, or has captured clients in the past. And then you want to get them to scroll. Now, I have a very unique philosophy on this. If you can get somebody to scroll through 3 of your artworks, they are definitely going to reach out to you. They want to work with you at that point, and they'll do it without any prices. And I get your hesitation, but we are not done yet on these big, horrendous issues with this. Now, if I haven't properly scared you enough, one thing I want to let you know is that you're leaving massive money on the table. Here are some examples why. Let's take a look at these two characters right here. These are technically two characters, but they are not the same. And so what this does is it sets up poor expectations for you and your client. So even if I did both of these characters right here, which by the way, they're not even in the same universe, it tells the client and gives them a false expectation of, oh, well, this is going to be this much and this is that much, because remember, y'all, clients are not artists. They don't think like us. They don't understand us. And they don't understand your process. They're not going to get off the bat that this is way more expensive than that. You will, but don't expect them to. Now, here's another big issue. Let's take a look at these. Oh my God, I'm so tired of seeing these right here. So when you naturally want to object to what I'm saying, you're going to say like, oh, well, Sean, I'll just charge up for a background and I'll go ahead and I'll do this and it'll be this much for that. And look at these. When you see these examples, it's exactly what I'm talking about. If you go ahead and you list out every single minor little thing that you need to do, this is ridiculous, y'all. You do not need to play your art business like it is a gotcha game. Like, why are you so focused on microtransactions in this? There's a much simpler way to do this, my friend. Like, this just feels like DLC content. Like, who is your client? Are they the little goblins from Harry Potter that sit in Gringotts all day, just sitting there and balancing coins? Or do you expect your client to just sit there with a calculator and go, oh, ding, 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 ding. Oh, it'll clearly be that much. You're asking too much math of people. You can't expect that much of them, y'all. This is anytime that you cause anybody to do more than 2 seconds of mental work, instantly shut down, instantly go away. Or if you see this gem right here, where it's like percentages, like what in the world? Why are you doing percentages? You could just keep this for yourself, not put this out there, and then give them a price. And you would do much better for yourself, friend. I know from experience. And let's also talk about like price ascension too. Like, how do you price up from this? You don't. And that's a big topic we'll get into in a second. So encompassing this entire issue here, you're giving all of your clients and yourself a terrible evaluation system. You're setting them up, again, only to buy your price and not your product. And that's a misaligned focus, y'all. But now I understand your objections, so listen to this. All right, so if that isn't bad enough so far, here's the worst, is that you're actually promoting terrible, toxic working conditions. You're also promoting yourself with negative comparisons. You're also giving yourself false hope under false metrics. And here's what I want to expose for you. Check this out here. So generally when you take a look at people doing this, I'm just going to be honest, you're way undercharging yourself. You're just trying to exist in a Red Sea effect, which if you've never heard that term, that basically means that what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a little bit of something in a really hot market full of people that just want nothing but bottom floor pricing. And here's my biggest problem that you should have. This is literally your problem, is that you've been tricked into thinking that having a lot of clients is equivalent to you being a successful artist. That's not true. Let me just demonstrate it for you like this. Let's take a look at this right here. So I'm gonna give you some simple math here, y'all. So let's say, for example, that you wanna go ahead and make $500 this month. Would that make you happy? So how does that work? Okay, well, if you wanted to make $500, you would have to do 25 artworks at $20. Sounds fun, right? Or you could do 10 artworks at $50. Or you could do 5 artworks at $500. Or you could do 2 artworks at $250 or 1 for $500. So on and so forth, right? And so here's the biggest trap that you're gonna get really tricked into thinking, is that you needing to have like more clients. So you need to think hard, what are your art goals? If your art goals are that you want to make X amount of dollars, I want you to really sit down and break this out and just ask yourself this. Who do you know in this art commission sphere who's going to actually go ahead and put a pricing that, again, similar to mine, can charge hundreds of dollars? They don't exist. Do you know why? Because they wouldn't last, because clients are only looking at the bottom line. And so what this kind of envelops itself into is this idea of you want to feel busy and you want not an art business, you want an art busyness. Being busy, getting all of those quick DMs from those people willing to pay $20, $25 for you, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel validated as an artist. I get it, okay? But you using these things in order to do that, you're not sustaining yourself, okay? Like when I look at pricing like this, I'm showing you right here, this just makes me sad. Like I see somebody who's really just wanting validation, and that hurts me because I really want you to do better. You can do much better, friend. You deserve to do much better. And if you're like, oh, well, Sean, I don't live in America or Europe. I live in some other economically disadvantaged part of the world where that's actually a lot of money from you. Well, I'm going to go ahead and oppose that in a second too. But at the outset, I just want to let you know that what you're doing is you're taking too many clients at too cheap and you're hoping that'll last. It won't. It won't. You're getting the worst clients, the ones that will treat you the worst, and the ones that do not respect you or your art. Because if that's going to be your case, why not just get a part-time job? I mean, if you're going to get disrespected and underpaid, you might as well do it on a consistent basis where you can get a consistent paycheck. Because it won't happen with this. Now, this far into the video, you're probably like, well, Sean, how could I possibly get people to buy this? And I know your number one hesitation on this is going to be, well, how would anybody ever buy any of my stuff? No one's going to buy my stuff if I don't display my pricing. And I just want to ask you, like, why do you think that? Like, really sit here and just really ruminate on this for a second. Are there no examples where this works? Well, I have plenty of examples where it does. Check this out. If you are sick and you go to the ER, do they tell you how much it costs up front? No, they do not. Let's say too that your car breaks down. You bring it on over to Jerry the mechanic on over here. And Jerry, obviously, he tells you exactly what the problem is before he even looks at it, before he even talks to you, before he even knows what type of car it is. And he knows exactly how much it'll cost, right? Oh, wait, they don't. Let's say too that you want to go ahead and you want to put an addition on your house. Well, obviously, you're going to call Fred the contractor over here, and Freddie's going to go ahead and give you the exact number that you want for the exact thing that you have in your mind, and he's just going to know it without ever speaking to you about it, right? Oh, wait, that doesn't happen either. So hold on. Every single one of those things I just mentioned are thriving industries, like very reputable and very well-earning industries. But you somehow think that you're not. Why is that? Now, who won't mind you displaying your pricing like this and your cut up little artworks? Well, cheap clients. Let's see why. So again, checking this out right here. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. Look at this. What did you notice first? You notice all the pricing because there's so much of it around. Because by contrast, you look at numbers first. We're very trained to look at numbers. Let's show you another example. Look at this one. What did you see? You saw artwork. This is the big point. You need to sell people on your artwork, on your artistic labor, not on how much your labor costs. Don't front load people with, this is how much I am. It just doesn't make sense. But why do we think this way? I gotta be honest with you. This is the fault of artists because you have trained yourself and we have done a awful, horrendous job, like genocidal level job at training artists to think that you should work like you work at Walmart and you should display your pricing and sell as cheap as possible to as many people as possible. But I want to encourage you to reverse this. You should sell at a higher price point to less people to get more money. And I want that to be for you too. And I want you to be able to grow. I want you to be able to hit your goals. I want you to exceed your goals. I want you to build a business, not build a validation factory for yourself. That's just a self-deprecating one, friend. That's not going to work for you. All right, so sticking with me so far, and I hope that you've trusted me because I'm really just trying to help you out. I really want you to get over this practice and rip this away now. Like after you're done with this video, like rip down your pricing sheet because it's not helping you, it's only hurting you. And naturally you might be thinking to yourself, well, Sean, how do I actually sell to people? I don't put it behind a paywall. I'm not gonna go ahead and say, well, you gotta go ahead and buy this course on how to do. No, I'm not about that, friend. I wanna let you know exactly how to do that. And here's what it is. Start by just like this right here. You wanna just put up a giant, awesome artwork and then have a large collection of other artworks, just like you're seeing right here, of your other artworks. Get people super enthused, not about your prices, not about your cheap value, or don't ever call yourself a value artist. I did that for years. Oh, that felt terrible. Instead, focus people on what you can do for them, the value you can bring them. And the way you're going to do that, friend, is you have to encourage people to have a one-on-one conversation with you. Encourage them and tell them directly, just like you can see in my post right here, DM you, all right? And when you do that, and this can be on literally any platform, when you do that, you are going to then not assess their wallet, you're going to assess what value you can bring them. And no, listen, I understand if you're like, oh, I really suck at doing this. I don't blame you, I did too. And I just want to put this out there too. This is not a high pressure, high stakes sales situation. You're not that slick back hair, greasy, used car salesman kind of archetype that you're thinking of. No, listen, I've been doing this for years and teaching people how to do it for literally years too. And this is a low pressure situation. It feels conversational, it feels comfortable. And I want to teach you exactly how to do this. And actually, I made an entire video for you right here on exactly how this works and give you the perfect script to fit any client's needs. So go ahead and go check that out, and this helped you, share with someone that you know. Thanks so much and see you next time.